My next patron question is from Sonia, who says, another wild and crazy theory popped into my head, and I'd like to know your thoughts on it. Disney's Beauty and the Beast is an allegory for an initially unpopular movie being vindicated by history. The Beast represents a movie that's initially poorly received and or fails at the box office. The Enchantress, Gaston, the hostile villagers, and even initially Belle represent the audiences and critics who pan the film. The enchanted objects represent the fans who always love the failed movie, but have been humanized as shills for having bad taste by those that hate the movie. Belle represents those who may have hated the movie at first, but then grow to love it. The Beast and his servants becoming human again represents the movie's ultimate vindication and the initial fan base being validated. If I'm being perfectly honest, I don't really see it, although I respect that this is how Sonia views the story and the characters. I just don't think this is what was going through the minds of the filmmakers as they were making the movie. Going by this criteria, you could even apply this allegory to any movie involving an outsider who is shunned by society, but does have the occasional supporters who stand behind them. Wicked, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Shrek. Interesting, those three movies I just mentioned center on green-skinned protagonists and are owned by Universal Pictures. I think the most plausible allegory you can apply to Disney's Beauty and the Beast involves one of the people most pivotal to its production. That was Howard Ashman, who not only wrote the lyrics, but was very involved in shaping the story. Much like he did with The Little Mermaid, he offered frequent suggestions in how the story should unfold, and was particularly attached to the character of the Beast. He was depicted as someone agitated about his situation and the pressure mounting as the petals on the enchanted rose fall, which he is constantly reminded of as he keeps himself isolated with his thoughts in the West Wing. During the production of Beauty and the Beast, Ashman was falling very ill from AIDS, and the directors and other members of the production team had to go to his home in New York City to show him the storyboards and the rest of the progress on the film. According to the documentaries Waking Sleeping Beauty and Howard, he had quite a bit of a temper at times, which could be attributed to his passion for the stories his songs were attached to. He was not afraid of letting the directors or Jeffrey Katzenberg know how he really felt if he did not like an idea they were proposing for the movies. At a time when homophobia was very much rampant and gay men with AIDS were unfortunately treated like monsters, it's hard not to see the possible relation he felt to the Beast and his situation. Ashman knew he could die at any moment when he agreed to work on Beauty and the Beast, not too dissimilar to the Beast watching the rose petals. And yet it's through meeting Belle that the Beast tries to show his worth, not unlike Ashman's relationship with the Disney movies he worked on. He was passionate about these films because he knew the impact they could have on the generations who grew up watching them, like the films produced by Walt Disney on him. I think if you can apply an allegory to the film's production, it's that the enchanted objects represent the Disney artists, animators, and directors who know that animation has a place even after the setback of the Black Cauldron, and them desperately trying to prove to their new bosses that it's worth investing in. The Great Mouse Detective provided that initial jolt, then Who Framed Roger Rabbit. The first Disney animated movie Ashman worked on was Oliver and Company, with him writing the lyrics for the opening song. After that, he became heavily involved in The Little Mermaid, serving as one of the producers, providing material for the screenplay, helping with building the story structure, and of course, writing the lyrics. These continuous successes then paved the way for Beauty and the Beast, and what that film accomplished with critics, box office, and awards. Disney had found someone to break the spell, so if you look at it, Howard Ashman could almost be considered Belle and the Beast, with Alan Menken, Linda Woolverton, Gary Trousdale, Kirk Wise, and the story artists and animators being like the enchanted objects who were also pivotal to getting audiences on board. At its heart, though, Beauty and the Beast is a love story about not judging someone for their appearance. Someone could be grumpy, but we don't know what they've been going through, while someone could present themselves as charming, but actually has a lot of ugliness underneath, like Gaston. I think that's one of several reasons that movie has left such an impact on people. The filmmakers were able to make the entire ensemble into fully fleshed out characters who felt real, even though some were under a magical spell and were talking clock, candelabra, and teapot. Add on top the excellent storytelling, wonderful music, and emotional stakes, and manage to tick off all the boxes to not only be a classic animated film, but a terrific piece of filmmaking in its own right. There's a universality to the story and its messages that allow you to read all sorts of themes and allegories into it, and that's why I think it'll remain a timeless film forever. Thank you for your question, Sonia.